How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another One Piece Wednesday episode review. Today's episode is episode 1072. The ridiculous power. Gear 5 in full play. If I go any further, please be equally as ridiculous and hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Be notified of more reviews just like this one. And ridiculous sure is it's an interesting word to use for Luffy's powers here, right? It's ridiculous in how strong they are. It's ridiculous and how the best word I can come up with is outlandish, very outlandish. So before I get into this, I'm breaking down things here. First, I want to talk about that intro, right? Shanks is so you get the Gold Rogers, the White Beard, the Zebix. I don't even know if they even told you who he is in here yet. I don't care. You know who that guy is now. And then you get Shanks, and then Shanks goes from to I'm very upset with a obviously thicker neck like my name is Vegeta. Shout out if you understood that reference. And then you get Sad Marco. Oh, Sad Marco. We know why Marco is sad, but Sad Marco. I meant to talk about that last week and I didn't. But we're going to talk about how the gang talks about Luffy first, right? Very, it's because the first half of this episode, which was I call this is part two of the fight, because last episode with the Gear 5 is the Kaidou fight versus Gear 5 part 1, and this is Gear 5 part 2. Session A happens before this, and looking at Session A, I got some feelings on it. I'll get to that in a minute. But when we get to them, the crew talking about the hopefulness of Luffy, that's what it feels like One Piece, right? After you can go all the way back to Arlong Park, where it's like, yeah, no, we believe in our captain, we believe in Luffy. Luffy will set things right. And you get that too. Now I'm telling it to Odette, Kid and Law having banter, right? Whoever comes through that hole next, that is the winner. Because if Luffy's still alive, if Mugiwara is still alive, then so is Kaido. So whoever comes through there next, that is going to determine everything. And, you get Kid going, oh, after he threw some junk at some, because everyone's fighting. They're still fighting for their life. And poor Chopper's crying out for Zoro, trying to find Zoro. But Kid is going, like you said, you were out of power. What are you, a wimp? And Law, I guess, fought somebody on the other side of him and said, you're the one that said you dreamt an impossible dream. Aren't you being wimpy? And Kid's whole thing is pride. I can't wait to do a video on how prideful this fool is. If I can't do it until after a certain event happens. But his whole thing is, I'm not going to go down before you or Straw Hat. I kind of like scenarios like this when everyone's fighting like soldiers and everything while someone's fighting the big boss. And call it cliche, it's just a thing I like. Especially, I like tabletop games and D&D. So when you think about people fighting a bunch of like soldier characters, I like that. I like when we get like side panels, like people fighting waves and things like that. But then you have Marco, after Luffy's head comes through the ceiling, everybody's like, okay, well, we know that's Luffy. Why does Luffy have a giant head, and why is all this happening? So that's going on here. You also have Yamato and Momo. They're trying to go up and see the battle, and they're like, is that Luffy? Yeah, it's Luffy. I mean, look, I know the dude's all white, and he's smiling like a idiot, and he has a cool purple sash. And he was massive at one point, but that's easy to tell that's Luffy. No one else looks like Luffy except for Garp, except for Dragon, except for someone's OC that they call Son of Luffy. So yeah, that's Luffy. Now let's talk about the main issue, main event here. Fight 2, Session A. Goofy shit, literally goofy shit, guys. So you got the Looney Tune thing. It's all the sound effects. Let's just be real. It's all the Looney Tune sound effects. He might as well put in the So the MGM, is that the MGM music where you have Tom from Tom and Jerry doing the lion roar? You might as well just have all of those old 1930s, 1940s, 1950s cartoon sounds and music playing for this, because that's what it was, right? Luffy being eaten by Kaido, which is very important to note that he gets hurt. Like, yeah, he's made of rubber and he's not supposed to hurt him, but he's getting hurt, which I guess we can say is a product of like two giant powers fighting. Because in One Piece, technically you're not supposed to hurt him unless you're using hockey. I don't see Kaido's teeth becoming black, so he is feeling pain when he gets bitten and smacked and everything else. Even when he gets hit with the blast breath, he's feeling pain. But this session A was annoying me because you get Luffy being swallowed by Kaido. I forgot to mention last week, he has a muscle form, and I call it a muscle form because he says muscle and he gets strong and everything, right? He's able to do that with the power of the awakened Nika fruit, right? And he gets swallowed. Then he does Gum Gum Balloon, which makes Kaido expand like a balloon. Even Kaido is going, I'm not made of rubber. Why is this happening? Kaido even making note of the fact that I thought you were dead. Well, I thought I was dead too. Well, hold on a second here. You've awakened your paramecia. That's how you say it in English. Paramecia fruit. And we get flashes of Karakuri, flashes of Doflamingo, middle finger for him. And then he said, but your transformation, that's exclusive to Zoans. And we see all of the beast pirates, all of them, every last one of them. So Kaido can't figure out what his power is. And I gotta say, modern anime now, and if you watch some of my Demon Slayer reviews, I love the blending of 2D, 3D animation with all of these other art styles that they're doing. I've seen some of the artists that they've hired to do some of the work for this, like on I'm still calling it Twitter, on Twitter, Instagram, when they put up, this is the part I did. You could tell it's a blending of styles, very beautiful styles, mind you. But the cartoon stuff is annoying, like the constant bounce, probably the sound effects. And this is for session A. I'm talking about session A here, where his arms go through Kaido's eye because he sees light. Oh, there's light. Hands go through his eyes. How is that not? If this was any other thing, like The Boys or anything else, there would have been blood and eye guts everywhere. You guys watch the Suicide Squad movie with Starro? Yeah, it would be something like that, right? But he goes through, he does Gum Gum escape rocket, comes through his mouth. And Kaido says, Kaido's turned out to be one of my favorite characters because he's saying exactly everything I'm thinking, and it's ridiculous because he says, stop fooling around and take this fight serious. And that's my thing. I'm like, dude, please take this fight serious. This is becoming a tad bit annoying. Now, I do like the after effects. I'm like, oh man, I had all this air up into the sky. He made a pop noise. He does Gum Gum Giant. Sorry, I said that in English. Gumu Gumu no Giant. Plays jump rope with Kaido. That is one of the shocking cool. Now, see, this is when it starts to take a turn for me, and I'm like, okay, you got me on that one. And they're spinning down, but Kaido, while his body is affected by whatever Luffy is touching, it's still his body, and he blast breaths the guy. Very cool scene. I'm happy to see that animated and looks very, very nice. But I'm gonna speak out for a second here. Now, everybody talking Toon Force and Looney Tune stuff. Yeah, it's very Looney Toony. It's hell. In session B of this fight, Kaido says it's like a comic strip. When his head goes, like Kaido had smacked his head and it went through the ground. He's like, it's literally like looking at a comic strip. That's what it is. Although, I almost spoiled stuff from the manga. Although, it's more like watching a cartoon. But I guess in One Piece, they don't have cartoons. They have comic strips, and manga, right? But usually in anime, manga, and in media like this, stuff, even like I'm gonna kick it over to DC. You guys know Mr. Mistleplex? I'm pretty sure I said that name wrong. The little tiny dude that's a fan of Superman, that's and alter things. Like even Mr. I want to call him Mr. Impossible, the Marvel version of him that looks like a green sprite. I mostly remember him from the new Fantastic Four cartoon. That was really, 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 really good. These cartoony reality warping characters that look starkly different than everyone else. I'm down. I can get down for I'm gonna smile through battle because I'm enjoying this fight. This is great. This is some Dragon Ball shit. I can do it. I love it. Cool. I'm okay with that. Because he even frowns with that big ass grin. I'm okay with that. But usually when we meet characters like this, we hate them. Hear me out here. How many times in your anime or your manga, you have a character, not even the main character, let's say character B, C, or D of the 4 to 5 to 6 man group, and they're fighting a guy that acts goofy and silly. And a lot of times the goofy, silly guy is the deadly one, like a killer clown like Hisako or Kefka if you like your Final Fantasies, right? And you go, I hate this guy because he's so silly, but he's so deadly, but he's so silly. I want to see this character kick his ass. And during session A of this fight, I was kind of rooting for Kaidou. I'm like, yeah, man, you acting a little bit silly. This is becoming too much. We're gonna take you down a couple pegs and just knock you out or something. Like grab Momo and pull a scale off or something. Get him serious because I've seen this in other shows where I go, I want this person to lose. Even in what is that? Black Clover. Remember the kid that used to with the lightning magic, and he seemed like he was always smiling and stuff, and it was just to mask a pain. He was annoying, and then you get the backstory. I'm like, oh, I get it. You're still kind of annoying, but I get it. We are conditioned to not like characters like this. It has nothing to do with cartoons. It has everything to do with the type of way they fight. Period. I think the most deadly version of the bouncing around happy-ish character, the most dangerous version was Pierre and Cowboy Bebop. Most dangerous version because you're looking and you're like, this is weird, but it's creepy weird and it's creepy deadly. Best version ever done. Luffy is the heroic version of that, so it's gonna take some getting used to, especially since this is the first outing. Session A, if I would grade the whole thing on session A, it would not do so well in my eye, right? Because according to this video this person puts up, the whole fight in this entire episode is just 8 minutes. I have 23 minutes, just 8 minutes. Now, session B is where we get you get the good season, you get the meatball, right? You get the good shit because it's after Luffy pulls his head out and the color drains from him, like the white, and he becomes his regular dusty, ashy, lips getting all crusty. He needs some Vaseline on it, and it's like, oh yeah, I was near death, and he just kind of like fall. I thought Luffy fell asleep when he was in his still in Gear 5 form, right? But he's falling down, and Kaido even he's like, oh yeah, so you're weak and everything, and then Luffy fires back like, hey, you don't tell me what to do. Luffy's about to pass out. Kaido falls to a knee, he falls to a hand. They're both pushing their limits, and even Kaido says to him, die peacefully. I'm sure someone will write a song about how someone will pass down the telling how strong you guys fought, right? It just give up right now, it's okay. And it's something slightly noble about this, right? Because Kaido didn't like winning when he thought Luffy had gotten killed from CP0 interfering. He didn't like that, and he was ready to go again. But then there's something in here where he's like, "You fought really good, kid. There's nothing wrong with just calling it quits." Although Kaido is, for all intents and purposes, a bastard, but yeah, something noble about that, right? Is it just me? And I have to repeat what Luffy says in here because he doesn't want that. He's like, after you die, all that's left is bones, right? And he's saying it's not over yet. And then we get the overtaken. Give that. I hope whoever composed Overtaken, I hope he gets a 200,000 yen on his check every time. I hope he gets paid all the money, because when you get that, you're getting fired up. And he's like, I gotta put an end to this. Hey, Momo. And Momo's over there. We get flashes all the way back to Punk Hazard. He's like, And then he thinks about Odette. And then he thinks about Kinemon. And he thinks about Pedro. Rest in pepperonis. And here, this panel here doesn't really this part here doesn't really help with all of the infighting amongst anime people, anime fans online, but he does like a Dragon Ball Z star power up with the hand on the ground, and it's Super Saiyan aura. Let's just be real about that. Super Saiyan aura. And he becomes white again. He's ready for the battle. And he smiles. When he smiles, he got that frown. I like that. This is getting me excited. When you slow it, whoever, I don't remember if this is exactly how this was supposed to be paced, because when you're reading, it's completely different. But I love how this was done, where it's like, slow it down, show the effects that all of this fighting pre-Gear 5 has done on both of these opponents, and then get us hyped to go again. And this is getting me hyped up. He's listening to his heartbeat. The art is completely different. The sparking of the electricity and everything, and his heartbeat starts doing the cool jungle beat thing. We do get to see Zoe talking about, "Oh, Joy Boy, is that you?" It's getting me excited. I have faith in you. I can count on you. Boo-doo-doo. This came around the time when Kaidou asked who he was, but I haven't gotten to that yet, right? And so he's doing a cartoon run. Kaidou was in the what we would call half human, half beast form. He's on the legs with the bat and all, with the spiked club. And this is so outlandish, but we've never seen, and I haven't somehow we've never seen a fight like this before. Where like he does the starter. This is how he runs. He does the starter block run, pushing up the ground as he does the cartoon run. And he had the cartoon legs like Sonic. And when he gets smashed into the ground, the face forms over the back because he's in Gear 5. And something about this got me into it. It's the build-up that got me into the fight. I guess I'm saying that I like this build-up as opposed to last week's build-up. This is really great. And when he starts fighting back, Over the Top starts playing. And you know how good Over the Top is one of at least top 10 best One Piece openers. And hell, probably top 5, but top 10 best One Piece openers. So good that while this song is instrumental, I am literally singing the words during this fight. This is how you get people hyped for a battle, right? And Kaidou again is just wondering as Luffy's running around him, making the earth turn into a bowl and whatnot. So this guy turns white. He's using literal translation here. I'm sorry, using the Cull of Arms, the Armin Haki, the Supreme King Haki, all at once. He's fighting freely and affecting the world around him. Kaidou is hey, he's wrapped his head around what this is without don't have to be told. No, remember the whole Earth move that Luffy's done? It's had a name now. It's Gumu Gumu no Counter Blow, which the pen paw thing is nice. Even Kaidou's still tired of fighting a kid. And Luffy, I'm sure you guys seen stills of this where he's springing back against the rock and he gets all wide and goes 3, 2, 1. And Kaidou's ready like a baseball bat. Oh yeah, the move Kaidou did that knocked his head into the ground was Ragnarok. Conquer 3 words Ragnarok. That is such a good name for a move. Such a good name for a move. But Luffy puts most of his might to a punch. And this is like his fist goes through dudes, sinks in the face, goes through the head. We only really see stuff like that. One of my favorite fights in anime, Android 17 versus Piccolo, where they're punching each other so hard, their fists are going through their bodies and making their bodies lurch. Luffy basically does this with Kaido's face and head. knocking him down. He's trying to figure out what to name this move because he kind of did a spin. He's doing a spin now as Luffy's, in Street Fighter where the characters bounce, Luffy's default pose is bouncing on the earth in Gear 5. That's his thing. And we get, who the hell are you? I'm me. I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'll surpass you and become king of the pirates. And just to put the Bugs Bunny cherry on top of this cake, the wipe, because it's a star wipe, it's a scene wipe, that's what they call it. It's like Looney Tunes where it just comes in like that. And then you get the, to be continued part. Very, very fun. I have to, and Onigashima's on fire, the final battle. Session 3 of the final fight with Kaidou and Luffy is next week. But session B, I'm sorry, part 3. Session B of this second fight sold it for me. Right? I know I gave last week a 5. I wish I could give last week a 4, but I called it a 5 because it's an iconic moment. This was amazing. This was great. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because the first half kind of just had me like, this is, and I don't know if it's I got to get used to it kind of thing because, like I said earlier, we haven't seen a fight like this before. You're used to your characters powering up. Every time Luffy's gotten a power up, it's gotten serious face. I'm strong. I'm looking more and more ridiculous, and it looks more and more cool. No matter what I do, Bound Man, Snake Man, Gear 2, 3, Electric Boogaloo, stuff like yeah. Even though I kind of wish I would have gave last week a 4, just because the bell dinging spelling Gear 5. Excuse me, that was kind of annoying for me, and they replayed it in this. I didn't particularly like hearing that over and over again, but I'm gonna give this a 4.5. I'm taking half a point off because of the first half. All this was solid though. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be fair. I gotta give it a 5 because this. Anytime I'm watching a thing to review and I do my notes, and then the ending song comes on and catch me by surprise. Man, like my favorite episodes of like Demon Slayer and Bleach, and I want to say, has Rurouni Kenshin ever caught me off guard? Not yet, but like these Digimon and new Pokemon, anytime you do something so well, and when the end credits hit, I'm going, wait a minute, that's it. You're doing a great job. 5 out of 5 from me. Has its issues. It is by no means perfect, but this is really good. That second half kind of redeems it. At its lowest, it's a 4.5. At me being honest, it's a 5. I have issues with how some of this is going, but this is really, you get to the second half on up, and that's One Piece. That's One Piece. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm being too lenient? Honestly, this is all subjective. I would really love to know what you thought. Are you down with the tune? Are you cool with the tune? I'm cool with the tune. I think the tune is great. But, well, now I think it's great. It's going to take some getting used to. If you can give me all Luffy's fights, like part 2 of the second fight, good. Don't forget, leave a comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when these go up. One Piece Wednesdays are here forever, because One Piece will be here forever. Please, guys, be good, be blessed. Thank you for taking some time out to listen to me talk about One Piece. I deeply appreciate each and every last one of you. I sincerely mean it. I greatly thank all of you who have subscribed. You do not understand how much that means to me. All right. Be safe out there. Wash those hands. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. All right. All right. Realize that you're never alone. Reach out to someone if you're feeling down, you're feeling sad. There's someone out there that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. My social media is right down there. Follow me. Give me a message. Don't be a jerk about it. And I promise I will get back to you. All right. Well, until next time, guys, I'm Shane. Gumu Gumu no out.